Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Well, time to start stripping down the 64. Doors off, trunk lid off. Time to get things ready for the final body work. All right, 4 doors are off. Look, can you see that? That is more than a dent. That's like a crease down in there. How I ever missed that doing the original bodywork, I don't know. We'll chalk it up to inexperience and just a guy trying to have fun. But of course, that is the reason for all this. Redoing this one more time. Little sand, find the low spots. Remember, I got the small little dent that I can only see at certain ways in the light on the hood. That spot, I'm sure there's some more. This is the door that has that funny transition with the color. I don't know, even off the car, it's weird. It's really, really weird. The only thing I can go is that there is a touch of overspray from the black undercoating I did that kind of blew up it, and I think that's what's making it the most. It's just, if you look at it, see the fine black overspray? Because once you kind of get close, it kind of goes away, but it makes a definite edge right where, as it was blowing past, it just stopped. It feathered off. So it looks really, really odd. But we're gonna go at her. We're gonna give it a go. Gonna give it our best try. Remember, this thing ain't looking perfect. It's not gonna be perfect by no means. I'm just gonna do the best I can do for my first go. So in the end, that's all a guy can really ask for. But, oh, and I managed to find, at a yard sale, a big chunk of foam. 2.5-inch foam. It's perfect. Be perfect for that backrest. And I'm going to squish it down to make one layer on the bottom as well, too. It's got enough to actually wrap right up and around. So that'll be good. So now I'm back onto the trunk lid, getting the trunk lid off. And I dinged it. I dinged the car. Now, I did a little one here before. I just did another one. I forgot that this trunk lid slides way down. And I was undoing the bolts slow, and it just come down and just barely touched it. And it is a divot, like not into the metal, but through the primer. You can feel it. I was smart enough to not do it twice. So these are the things I got to be careful of, and I'm going to have to fix. Taking the trunk deck off, one person, no problem. Put it back on, even with the wife, it's a bugger. These arms, they end up standing almost straight up. They're on a big spring, and you can only connect the spring when the hood is off. So you can bend it up, put it in the right place, then pull it down to where it kind of locks it. So it's a bugger thing to do. But, again, we're going to do our best. So here's my operation. Outside under the canopy, of course, or the lean-to, whatever you want to call it. Like, one of the best things I ever did. Boarded in would be even better, but we got to work on a grandfather clause for that one. So it's got to wait maybe another year. Maybe a little less than a year. We'll worry about that another time. But here's what I got set up here. Got my power cord out here. I actually started on one of the other doors the other night. It's going to stay out here permanently. Got a set of sawhorse, of course. Got some nice fluffy towels down there so I'm not scratch things up. Because all sanding is being done outside here. No more sanding going on inside the shop. I'm going to keep that as dust-free as I can so things settle, and I'm kind of careful what I'm doing in there because working towards painting here soon. So out here, we bring each door out, and of course that is very noticeable. But go over this quickly with a sander, nice and gentle, and start looking for spots. Now there are spots that I've hit and dinged it. Other spots where you can kind of see the body fill through. You can't feel it, but it's made. I had this issue before, and actually all it ended up being is I just had to sand a little finer, put down the primer again, and they went away. It's just that using the rougher sandpaper, the spots of the body fill kind of showed through a bit. And I was always worried that if I can see them now, I might see them later. But a quick sand of 300, and they kind of go away. And then when I repainted the primer, they were gone completely. So here, we're just looking for spots. I got the big dent, of course. Got that little ding here. And right here, a chunk of something is in the primer. It's like a big flake. So this is the biggest thing. This is the final sand. I go over this with a block, and it shows me my high spots and low spots. So far, not a lot of anything, but there's a few things we'll show you on the inside there. So I'm gonna go over this gently. Now, just primed, this stuff ends up feeling, it's pretty good, but you can hear it, right? It does have a texture to it. 300 on this, it's as smooth as silk. It's unbelievable how smooth it is. So first prep here, quick sand, looking for spots. If it's not real noticeable, put a little mark on it with a pencil so I can see it once I go inside. Then we wipe it down, blow it off so there's no dust. And then we head over into the shop. And here's where we're going to be doing a little bit of body work. So this is one I've gone over with the 300 already. And like I said, this thing is smooth as a baby's bottom. But two little high spots. Now, on either side of it, there's nothing except for the two little spots. So, unfortunately, I'm going to put something behind it, kind of close to the edge here. And I'm going to have to do a little tapping with a ball peen hammer or something. Try to bring that down. Give her a quick rub of body fill. Throw it back outside. Now we'll be going through here. And where's it at? Right here. There's a couple little pinholes. So I must have did some body work down here. There's a couple little pinholes that need to be taken care of. So I'll sand that down a little better. Get rid of the main part of the primer. Because I'm going to be putting body fill. Same as here. I'll end up taking the paint down a little better. Until I get down to all metal. I'm trying not to go through primer. I want to avoid that as much as possible. But spots where I do got to do body work, I'm going to take the primer off. So it'll be one here, primed. I'll feather it in. Same goes here. Everywhere else looks pretty good. Now, other things I didn't show you out on the other door is there's actually a few of the holes for the trim I've covered over with body fill, and I never really noticed. The other one had that big dent, so holes in the end got filled, so I got to take care of that. But this is kind of my procedure. Sand outside, wipe it down, blow it off, make sure there's no dust. Bring it in here, tapping, a little bit of body work. This will go back outside for the sanding. Little tapping, sand it where it needs to be. I'll put my body fill on. It can dry in here. Sand, prime, over and over and over and over. And I left these two doors here by themselves because this one's done. That one I didn't do yet, but I can't see a mark on it. So I'll leave it to the end. And that'll be it. Hopefully we can get these done. But what you're looking at, and I don't know if there's the right way to do it or if this was way too overkill, but I think it's a good idea. Talking to a body guy, glaze and putty. So what I did is I took this light, which is bright as all get out, and basically put my face to it and went along. And every spot you see was a little tiny nick, air bubbles down where I did a lot of the body work, where all the doors were all chewed up and stuff. Little tiny pinholes everywhere all along. So that's what this is doing. This is getting the pinholes. It's getting some spots where there's some deep chips where I didn't quite get all the paint off the door and made some marks. It's supposed to be easy sanding, but still hard. I don't know. Take that as it is. Hopefully this is okay. I did sand a little too far on this door, this whole top edge. I sanded it. I could see something, and I know I'm being too picky. I know you're always hard on yourself. I kept going, and then I started seeing brown, the darker color. It's not really brown. It's the very last little bit of primer. So I went too far, so I have to prime all these spots again anyway, but I'm gonna have to spray the top of that door again as well too, just to prime it all in. But yes, it's coming. I hate sanding. Oh my God, I hate sanding. I still got to do that, and then the whole friggin' car. So I'm just finishing up sanding. Just gonna get this sanded. The other 3 doors are done. 2 are completely done. No body work at all. Everything's finished. I just went over this lightly. This is why I was using this filler. You can see little spots just like that. Again, there's just weird little bubbles that were coming through. So this is filling it all in right nice. I got a little chip here. Well, not really a chip. There was a chunk of dirt. A little bit of garbage. Trash is in there. So I picked it off, and it left a little bit of a low spot. But this is the door that needs all the body work. I've ground the spot down. It's mostly metal. It looks kind of dirty there with the dust coming up on it. Got a little bit of a... looks like factory body fill maybe. There's something in there. I can chip it out. It's like factory body fill. Worst part is, I know I'm touching it, but if that is factory body fill, it's probably got asbestos in it. And there we are. Bondo is on. Now, I ended up dragging that out quite far. I had it down to mostly metal, but once I put the layer on, it seemed to feather out so much nicer as I went. So I just dragged it nice and gentle until it finally just fluffed away, and that was the end of it. Here, you can see where the emblem is. This kind of comes across where the chrome is. Someone must have bumped it at one time, because when I was sanding it, there was some paint left around the edge there. This here is the primer with maybe a double coat. I don't know, but it was low. I put my level across it, and you could probably slip a piece of paper under there. So I wasn't working metal. It's getting a skim coat body fill Bondo. So those two spots done. Got this edge done. This is gonna probably require a touch up. I put a little bit higher spot on top here because this seam, with that being high, it's perfectly straight, but there's a little bit of divot in it. So what I did is I just raised it a little bit. Now, I guess theoretically in the world, that makes it kind of a soft spot if something was to hit it. Hopefully no one will hit it, but it's what I'm doing. It's what I got going on here. That was a really odd crease. So now when I sand this, I should be able to get that nice concave shape. This shape here is actually my dual action sander on its edge. If I take the sandpaper off and watch the edge, I can get it up to the point where it's like a perfect line right through. And I don't know what kind of degree it is, 20 degrees or so. And I use that just to scuff it at first to get the right shape. I'll do some hand work on it, and then we might have to touch it up with a little bit of the glaze and putty when it's done. Just trying to get a feel for the space that I'm going to have here, which is awesome. It's not even all the way back yet, and I could easily fit my truck in here up front, which would be great to work on. So this is my spot. Got a lot of cleaning to do, a lot of vacuuming, a lot of prep. Make sure the floor is clean. I'm not sure if that... Actually, you know what? I might as well bring the plastic out to the side of that rail. This one will be exposed, so I'll be wiping that rail down as well too. Wiping the spring down and whatnot as well. Just anything I can think of to keep away dust. Like I said, good vacuum on the floor, then it will be covered as well. I thought it was going to be with the brown paper because, I don't know, maybe I was under the wrong impression with Lec, but I was pretty sure I had a big roll of this brown paper in the house, in the craft room, which doesn't seem to be there anymore. Not quite sure what happened there, so plastic it's going to be probably. Not a big deal. It'll be the thin plastic that sticks, the dust is made to stick to it, and I might even come in here with the hose and just sprinkle over the floor or something like that as well too. Not 100% sure on that. I'm sure you guys will let me know if that's a good idea or not. I could just let it go to the floor, but I don't know. I just can't do it. My other thing is that I could do is I have a ton of bed sheets that are just white bed sheets. Maybe that's a better idea. Maybe the overspray will sit on that better. Maybe that's an option. And it'll hold water, nice moisture if I kind of spray on it and not splash up on anything. So maybe bed sheets are, because I got enough to cover this whole floor. I get these used. They are washed and clean, but if they get rips and tatters on them, I tear them up in the rags. My cupboards are full of rags. Full of rags down there, pile of rags there, pile of rags back on the rack. Never a shortage of rags. So I could do that as well too. I could lay this all out with old bed sheets. And that would help keep this concrete dust from coming up. And like I said, I'm going to hang everything. So the doors, I'm going to make a couple frames, and I'll hang 2 doors just like they're hanging on the car. There'll be the right hand forward and back, and the left hand forward and back, and then the trunk lid, and then the hood, and kind of put them where they're going to be. I haven't really thought about how to do under the hoods yet and the bonnet. Now, I would like to do it so that it as is the car. So, when I'm painting, first time here, when I'm laying down paint on top of these fenders, I would like to have the hood situated so I can lay the paint down the same way. But that brings me an issue of how to do the other side. I could hang it up, of course, no problem. That'd be the easiest. But then I'm spraying and laying down the paint in a different pattern than what I would be for the fenders and the upper skirt here, or whatever you call this part, the vent part. And I'm worried that it might cause a different, like a look to the color because of shadowing or something like that. So that's why I wanted to kind of have it go all the same way. Once I get the doors hung and get stuff set out, I'll look at, can I maybe do something where I can spray it and easily somehow maybe just set it down onto something. I don't know. Maybe I can do it that way. Underside, I don't care. It can be done with a spray bomb as far as I'm concerned. Which, thinking about it, just a second, there's nothing to say that I don't spray the tops and bottoms of these the way they are now. And then I can just tape off the very edge and mask it and just paint the other side. You know what? That might be the ticket right there. Maybe I just do a quick spray on the bottoms because you're never going to see it, and then I do the top coats, and then I do a final coat on the other side after it's all masked up. Then I can put on clear coat just to clean it up a little bit. Got the electric heater going. It is cooking in here. It's about 23, 24 degrees, which is right around where the temperature of the paint says it should be. So here's my little setup. I don't know. We're gonna try it. I'll be able to get all sides. The hooks are back far enough that I probably won't have to do any touch-ups. But if I do, they're all underneath on the inside. So just with a little brush of paint or something, I can probably figure it out. So let's see here. Everything has been degreased, wiped down, wax and tire remover. So all I got to do now is I'm going to let this keep going here for a bit, heating it up. I'm going to let it sit for probably about 5 hours. Just let the air calm down after all my moving around. I'll come in, tack cloth this off, and hit her with the first coat of primer. Well, there's the first coat of primer. Fan's working out pretty good. Clearing it out. Got a couple flies in here, but it's only primer at the moment. Hopefully the gases will kill them when it comes to top coat. So far, no runs. So that's just the first one. On the big surface, I got a little bit of striping. Got to work on my pattern. Maybe I'll change the pattern of the gun and go the other way to try to even that out. But so far, doing great. Let this dry and get on to the next one. Well, hope you can hear me. I just got the garage vented out. That was the second coat of top coat. That was my wet coat. Still a little bit wet here. Not doing too bad. But, man, did I cut it close. When I did my 2 coats of primer, I barely had enough to finish everything. So you'll see, I didn't top coat the inside of the doors. I went all around the edge where they're going to be seen, but I didn't do the faces, which was good because in the end, I barely had enough just to do a dust coat over the back of that hood or the trunk hood. All right, we're aired out pretty good now. Whew. But still pretty smelly in here. Now, we're actually ran over into the next day. I played a bit of a game, doing these top coats, letting them go as long as they can in between top coats. And that's because I quickly realized that I did not have enough reducer to carry on with my clear. I want at least 3 coats on this, and I realized I'm barely gonna have enough to get maybe 2. So I end up spacing them out long. I have 24 hours to put on my top coat, so I let it go as long as I could here. Or sorry, I have 24 hours to where I have to do the clear coat, and I'm well within it still. I'm still doing good. So I actually rolled over in the next day. That's why you got kind of an odd video. That one yesterday, I know some people were disappointed, hoping they're going to get the big spray. Whew. Sorry, I got to breathe through my mask a bit. Just breathing out when I'm talking. But all in all, everything worked out good, so this is definitely flashed off. The only thing so far, right there, I got one little tiny drip. Now, I don't know if that is through the top coat or the primer. So I am going to leave that. If that is the primer and I missed it when I first looked at it, and I try to sand that or cut that, I'm going to be right into primer and I'm going to have a mess on my hands. So you know what? Whatever. First paint job, one little tiny spot, I'm okay with that. But temperature's back up. Let's finish this off and get all the clear coat on. Well, dear Lord, we are done. That is 3 coats of clear. She's shiny. It's still drying. But that was stressful. Now, one thing you guys don't know here, what happened in the background, is I didn't really mention it. This is my primer gun. The 1.8 tip. That's my finishing gun, which I'm supposed to use for my top coat and for the clear. Brand new, out of the box. Within like, I don't know, 30 seconds. The packing's blue up back here on the needle. And all the paint and stuff starts shooting out. You can see down the bottom there, all over my hand. So I painted the whole thing with my primer gun. And that made it so I had to stand back way further, crank up my air, and man, did it get foggy in here. I hope this plastic did something. But I don't see any runs yet. The last coat's pretty heavy. But man, at the moment, it's got a shine to it. Now I worry, being my first full job like this, that it's gonna be like sand this out and buff it out to make it smooth. That's what I'm thinking. But it looks good. Everything's protected. One bad thing. Got a bug land right there. And make a mark, a dark mark. I don't know what I gotta do. He landed on the top coat. I got my little mixers. I got 2 sticks. I pulled them off gently, but he left a dark mark behind. Things are looking pretty good. Might have a little bit of a dry spot here. Again, I fully planned on buffing this when it's done, just because it's the very first top coat I ever done. And like full paint job. But that hood, I don't think I got any dry spots. But I do feel like it was trying to go on dry. I was messing with it a lot. But you know what? As long as it doesn't have any big runs in it, nothing a buffer can't fix. Whew! That's her. Well, that's this part done anyway. We'll worry about the underside later. When I'm ready to do the car, I can tape this all off on the good side and spray that in. I do have the hood done anyway. I thought that was the most important part, because you know, engine's going to be open, people are going to be looking in at the engine, they're going to see the hood. So I made sure that got done. As for the backs here, you'll never see them. All the exposed, you only see about 1/8 to 1/4 inch, so I went in about 1 inch all the way around. That'll be all covered up. I'll probably put something on there to protect that metal a little better than just the primer. But again, like I said, the panels will be on and you'll never see it. Whew, and I'm tired. It's late. Oh, my arm. My arm feels like it's going to fall off of my hand. It's going to fall asleep. Well, that's it. That's it for these parts anyway. Gonna let this air out for another 5-10 minutes. I'll be running my heater all night. I'm just gonna let it go. It'll probably get up to 24, 25 degrees with overnight. But that's okay. We'll let her bake. And hopefully tomorrow, there's no big sags in this thing because I went a little heavy at the end. I'll admit it. I had some left over in the gun, kind of gauging as I was going. And I figured, you know what? Easier to fix a run than have to repaint everything. Thank you guys so much for following along. So happy to get to this point. This was definitely a learning experience. Whew. Can't wait for the finished rest of the car. And there we are. Ooh, that is nice. God, look at that. Jeez. I'm not saying this is a professional job by no means, but I can't feel a thing. God, that's nice. Man. Oh. See, I can feel a little bit of, right at this edge, a little bit of, it's just not smooth like the rest of it is. So I guess that's that overspray making a little bit of dust in spots. Oh, right out on this edge here as well too. I can feel that just a little bit rougher. But I fully anticipated in doing some buffing for sure. But the big areas, that was my concern, is that it's taking time on these big areas and it would sag. But man, I think I might have did a half decent job for a new guy. I think I might have actually did something half decent here. God. Oh, right there a little bit. Again, I could feel just a little, it's just feathered, it's like perfect glass, and then there's just a little bit of a texture. So I think a little buff should do that. Man, that is so nice. I was wanting to touch this last night, but look at that. Little there, yeah, just this edge. It's super nice and smooth here, and then I could just feel just a little bit of dust. And mostly I'm gonna say that was from the heavy coat, because I was trying to go a little slower and lay it on heavier, but so worried I was gonna get runs and sags. I might have missed a spot for a bit. And the light this light is not good for painting, especially on this side. I could not see where I'd lay down the wetness on the last coat. What I was doing was figuring out the size of my spray pattern. I would shoot on the side of the wood here, run it about the center of it, right at the edge of the door, and then basically just try to lift it to 1/2 inch and go that way the best I could. But you know what? I think I might have did a half decent job. It's not professional, I know. This is in my garage, but I did the best I could. I learned a lot. And you know what? For my first full spray job, I am pretty happy with this. Is that I can see like my body where it's not perfect. Now with the shine, I see a little bit of a change right there. She's there now. She ain't going anywhere. I ain't grinding that down. But yes, I can see like a little bit of deviation there. This is that whole back that was just crushed in. So anything is better than what it was. Man, I am happy. Now the dust, holy moly, like it is perfectly clear in the air in here. But what's left behind, it still smells quite strong, like for sure. And now, I don't know where the flies come from. They are everywhere. I was squishing them all the time. I had the one that landed on the door, but these are all bugs and flies squished everywhere. All between my plastic, they're everywhere. I don't know where they come from. I don't know where all these bugs come from. They just appear. I don't know if it's the heat because I have my heater on the whole time, or if it's the smell that brings them in. So yes, it's time to start getting the shop back into kind of a shop. So we can get the old body here, the 64, the heart and soul of the unit, front and center here. So we're going to come forward and over, probably about 3 feet, and start going over it. Now, when I leave for work, when I get home from work, it is dark outside, so not a lot of work I can do through the week of final prep. But I do know there's pinholes already. I can use just a little bit of, I'm going to use a little bit of hand sandpaper and to get down to some steel. I'll use my vacuum as well too, hooked up to my sander, keeping the dust as minimal as possible. And take off the primer, get to the metal so I can start putting on some of that spot putty again, that glazing putty. Fix up what I can find. There's a couple other little odds and ends. I did find a little crack in the back from the original body fill that's in that back there. Or I shouldn't say original, somebody that did it. And there's a couple little odds and ends I want to fix up as well too before we get there. But yeah, that's kind of my thing. Now, geez, we're going on, I don't know how long we're going on now. Blue tape for the win. That's all it needed. Now, it couldn't hold itself up before at all, and half of this was still on the ground, and now this blue tape is holding it up, which is perfect. That yellow tape is just definitely don't have the sticking power, but it rolls up nice and gives me a nice little space to get under there. As for the doors, this is only 2 days that they've been dry. It's not real warm in here. I've been on and off with the heater just because I don't like leaving it go all day when I'm not in near the electric heater. So it keeps an average of 18 degrees Celsius inside the shop here. So it's going to take a little longer for these parts to really bake on and dry off. They're definitely hard to the touch. I pushed as hard as I could on one little corner. I can't make a fingerprint, but I don't want to put anything on it yet. Just get things cleaned up here, get things moved around. I'm going to give it at least another day, maybe 2 days. And then I'll use my nice towels or my sheets. I'm going to drape sheets over top of all this stuff. And then I'll end up putting plastic, a separate plastic layer over top of those sheets again, just to keep dirt off that. And once I know they're okay to be wrapped up, then we can really start getting on here. But it's getting late. Well, it is late. It's after 8 o'clock. You can't see it. But spent the evening just cleaning up here and playing around with that old gun. Well, that gun is now in there, done. Only thing I'm going to keep off it is the pot. It matches up, even though they're both vapor guns from Princess Auto. This is a 1.8 tip. That's a 1.4. Everything's identical. The needle, the cap, everything is perfect except for behind the cap. I don't know. Maybe I'll show you here. Get one. Everything's the same except the thread on the back side of that one is smaller. It just drops in the hole, but everything else fits. The needle's the exact length. The little stop is in the right spot. It's the same diameter. The other one it's a finishing tip, so it has more holes through it here, I guess for a better fan. And also, this one here has 6 holes in it. The other one has 11. I think it has 11 holes in it for more airflow, which is, just for that finer spray. But, like I said, where this piece threads out, that one is smaller. So, of course, they had to change something up. So, the whole gun is garbage. Like I said, all I kept was the pot off the other one. Over time, I'm sure this will get dirty and cruded up and whatnot. Well, there it is. It's like 10 degrees Celsius, and it is awesome in the sun. But pull her out, and boom, the sunlight's shining my problems. And I end up doing a whole bunch down here as well. The body fill, some in the corner. Over here, I did a little skim coat on the top of that fender. It never ends. It's got to end. There are ripples. This thing is not smooth as glass, by no means. The body. Paint job hopefully is nice and smooth. You're going to see some imperfections here, like I said. 48 footer. Now, you know what? It'd be nice if it was a 5 footer, 6 footer. That'd be nice. But it is what it is. I'm going to zip and get some more sandpaper because I probably have enough. But you know what? I'm going to let this dry up a little bit before I get all the dust into it. So I'm going to run to the store, get some sandpaper. Regardless if that's ready or not, I'll start doing the top and the roof and everything. A little dust on it is not going to be a big deal. Got my dash double wrapped. Got the engine double wrapped. Got inside my vents packed. Everything shoved down in. Yeah, the engine's going to get dusty. I know that. It's not a problem. It's just the least amount of dust, the better. Anyway, get to the store, get some paper, and get to do some sanding. Here we are. What a day. Sanding is done now. I did do a few more bodywork spots, the Bondo, so I might have to put a little bit of spot putty on that. I'll get the blower out, or not the blower, I'll get my cleaner out, tar and grease remover, clean up the spots really good, get in with a light and see where the pinholes are. Waves and dents, which I'm going to have, that's one thing. Pinholes are another. Water gets in there and causes lots of problems. A wave, painted good. Wave's not going to rust. You're going to see it, but not going to rust. Pinholes is more what I'm worried about. Well, down here, I knew there was going to be a few more spots, just because I'd end up doing that spot of mud down there. Mud. Bondo. So I knew there was going to be a couple spots down there, pinholes, so I just took care of that. But light is a funny thing. The perspective. That's what I missed on the roof. I cannot believe it. Now, I checked chips and stuff on the roof when it was bright sun outside, so kind of half shining through my windows and lights on here. And I swear, it looked like that was all there was. I brought it back in to come out tonight. Didn't even have to use a light. Stand up on here with a dark there and just the light straight down. And that's what I could see. All those new spots. So, just gave him a little dab. Not much. I'm not going to be taking this thing back out again. Everything is it's smooth as glass. I've been DA sanding this with 320. So now I'm going to go over this probably with 450, 500 by hand. So I'll use my vacuum cleaner beside it, do a nice pattern all the way around and everything, and then I'll probably go over it again with I got some 800 left just to try to make it as smooth as this. The 320 on a DA will make it way smoother than your hand will with 400 or 500. So that'll help just clean up those spots, and then it'll be finally ready for some primer. And as for the primer and paint aspect of it, well, I'm going to have to wait till the weekend. There's just not enough time in the day for me to do this through the week. I got to work. I'm not self-wealthy or whatever you want to call it. I have to work all week, just like anybody else. So the process is quite a process. 2 good coats of primer, of course, go on here. And I want that good adhesion, so it's one right after another, giving it time to flash. And once that's flashed, right into the top coat. Once the top coat flashes, quick rub down with the tack cloth, top coat, keep going. And as soon as that flashes off, hit it with the clear. It's a process that has to go through the whole day. Now, my clear though, if I do run out of time, or it looks like I'm running out of time if I have issues, that's where, just like last time, I can stretch that out. I can go to the max amount of time between each coat of top coat, then a coat of clear, then another one, and if I have to put another clear on, as long as I can get it, well within that 24 hours, then I can always come back the next day and do another one. But I don't think I'm going to have to go that route. I think I'll be able to get it all done. My plan is to have this thing ready to shoot Sunday morning. And I got a lot to prepare before I do that. I got to really make sure I tape up this dash. The dash is going to be cleaned up. I'll just put a towel's just going over the top to seat. I'm not that worried about it. But the dash needs to be wrapped up, engine wrapped up. My suspension and stuff in here, put towels up in the best I can, same across my back axle and everything. I want to make sure I don't get any overspray on that. And then there's a lot of taping as well too. I'm going to tape all the bottom. So I got basic paper all the way along the bottom, coming off the lip of the rocker panel onto the floor. I might even put some little bits of wood along that just to make sure it doesn't blow, because I don't want all that overspray going underneath on my drive shaft and everything, and the bottom of my engine and stuff like that. As for in here, I can't remember how big the parts are, like how much you don't see gets back here. So I'm not going to worry about taping up all this. I don't care if there's overspray on the floor. It's not a big deal. It's going to be completely covered carpet. So I'm going to leave it open so I can come with the gun here, and I want to make sure I wrap right around this edge. I know it clips over this piece here. Oh yeah, sorry about that. I know it clips over these, so I want to make sure I at least get paint right onto this side here, down this corner. So I'll be able to paint all down that edge and around. The same thing going, inside here, like on the other side. I want to get the primer stuff just around the edge here, just so I can make sure that there's no spots left, so that once I assemble this thing, I'm not looking at bare metal. Sanding is complete, all the hand sanding. I vacuumed the whole car inside and out. Got it rubbed down real good with the wax and grease remover. And I'm just moving into starting taping it up here. Seat, not a big deal. Just getting covers. But I got my whole dash sealed off, all the way down and around to the floor. Vents plugged, just finish off the engine compartment. There's this ends up being 3 layers of that plastic, just because I ran it around with the tape. The front closed in, pretty good. I'm going to run a piece of tape across on a diagonal there, just so that plastic doesn't flap out. Got one headlight sealed, got another one sealed on here. And I'm trying to figure out what to do with this mirror. And with the power of video, it is 2 weeks later since the clip just before this. It's been 2 weeks. So all the sanding's done. Shop is back together, ready for painting. I did a couple small jobs in between there. Got some trailer stuff going on. That'll be a little video series in itself. But the biggest thing was waiting on paint. Now, not paint, sorry, primer. Now, I can only do this on a Sunday. It's the only day I have that is a full day, just me by myself, and I don't have to worry about anything stopping, because once I start, I can't stop. Primer goes on. I got to drop the next one on in a half hour. I got to drop the first coat of base coat on within the hour, and then an hour again, an hour for the next one, and just continue on. And it just got to keep going. I got to keep it flow. I'm not going to be sanding in between, so I got to have that chemical adhesion. I want it a little bit soft, so it's biting into the layer behind it. This is the good etch primer on the steel. The next primer put on will bind to this mechanically, because this has all been sanded. Really good, but been sanded. So that'll bite on there mechanically, and then everything on top of that is going to be a chemical adhesion. So it's enough gun flapping. Time to mix up some primer, get this thing cleaned off, and get back at it. There we go. First coat of primer down, just letting her air out. It actually didn't get as foggy as I thought it would. I started laying it on, sorry, just a little bit thicker and changing my fan a bit. I found it got more product on the car than making all that mist in the air, so it is kind of misty in here, but it's not bad at all. So far, so good. A couple spots of dirt kind of flung out around areas from what I was doing close to the edges here. So as soon as it's dry, I'm going to tack cloth this before I do my top coat. And actually the final primer coat, as soon as it's dry, I can just touch it. I'm just going to take tack cloth and just gently brush the little pieces off. And hopefully that'll be good. Woo! Well, things are still going good. This is the second coat of base. I just got to clear it out real good this time, because I'm going to finish off on the roof. I'm going to start off on the roof first. And that's been the biggest issue, is trying to get the whole roof done before it flashes off a little bit, going back and forth, because I can only do one side to the other side, and making it even. Now with the dust, I'm worrying that some of it is laying out before I get to the other side, because I've been starting from the front of the car, working back, thinking that my ventilation on my heat is pushing it back there. I'm going to change it up. You know what? It's working great, so we might as well change it. But I'm going to do the whole roof, both sides in one go, air it out,
And then I'm going to come back, do my fender. I do my fender and around the front. Then I do the front fender down the side. Then I do this other side down and around. Then work my way back. Seems to be working pretty good. This is going to be the third and final coat. Whew. It is a long day. I forgot about lunch. Only 3 hours late on lunch. But I want to get this done. There we are. Whew. Third coat done. She went on a little heavy. And I wasn't really paying attention. I got down to 16 and a half, 17 degrees, so it tells me on the can that do not spray below 20. Actually, I think it says 21, so I've been skimming the edge around 18 to 20. So it's taking a little while to flash off, so I got to wait a little longer in between coats, which is good. I think I got the roof done, so there won't be any dry spots. It seems like it's going pretty good. The quarter panels, this is where I finished off. This would be the wettest spot. And of course, the back of that trunk lid, that was one spray, is to come to the edge and then down the back. So it's got some drying to do. That's her. That is all the top coat. Whew. So happy that's done. God. You know what, if I had the proper facility for getting rid of the dust, I would love to do this all day. The dust in here drives me nuts. This is working, but I have to stop in between just to try to let some of it out. It gets so thick in here. But any luck, well, she'll turn out good. So now it's because it's a little chillier. And it got down. I'm at like 16, just a hair over 16 degrees. Nothing running, which is good. I'm going to leave this for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Now, I do have 24 hours before I got to put the clear coat on. I'm going to get it done. I'm going to get it done today. I think it's, I don't know what time it is. Whatever that says. I think it's around 4 o'clock, 4:30. So my plan is to get 3 coats of clear coat put on this tonight. And hopefully she'll finish off good. All right, all cleared out, looking good. Looking modified. The last tack cloth to finish this off. I'm gonna tack this whole thing down. Mix up the clear coat, and we're gonna let her fly. I have way more than I need, but I'm gonna go for 3 coats. First one will be a mist coat, second will be a semi-wet coat, and the third one, well, it might run. I've got to do my best not to get runs, of course, just like the doors and the hood, but it's gonna go on thick. Wish me luck. That's the first clear coat down. Got a bit of a shine, but you can see the dull. A little bit of dull spots. That is just to get a good base on here to get it sticky. The roof though, I went a little heavier just because mainly it's flat. And I wanted to make sure I had no dry spots across it. I think I accomplished that. It's a big area. I should have had a stool. I can barely reach to the middle to get my gun straight down. But I did that a little heavier just so I know, because I know it's going to be nice and flat. As for everything else, so far so good. It's a little chilly in here at the moment. This stuff makes such a mess, such dust. I have to open up the fan a little bit sooner than I usually do. And my filter fell out of the way. Whatever. I can pull the fan out, clean it another time. 25 minutes, on goes the next coat. Well, my people, that is it. The 64 is sprayed. 2 coats of primer, 3 coats of base, and 3 coats of clear. And now it's all up to Mother Nature. If she could just let up on the gravity a little bit, that would be awesome. I'm down to 15, 16 degrees again here. I just cleared it out quite a bit. Had to shut the door. It's a little sticky in spots, so hopefully it'll stop it. But, oh my God, can't believe it's done. Can't believe it's done. Look at the shine on that roof. I hope she stays shiny. Whew. So that's her. I'm gonna have to finish cleaning up my paint gun. Get that taken care of so it's good to spray another day. Hopefully not this. But you never know, something might happen. I may have to spray another panel. I might ding it. I might get this thing out in the bright, bright sunlight and find out I got striping somewheres. A door, hood, I don't know. You never know. This is my first full job like this. I feel good. Looks good so far. So hopefully overnight here, she dries good, dries hard, dries clear. That's what I want. The clear, that's the thing. I got a lot on here. I can always buff it if I need to. If there's a dry spot somewhere, no issue. I'll just buff that out. But anyway, let's come back in the morning, see what she looks like.
Well, oh no. Holy crap. Did I get lucky there? Oh, did it touch the car? Oh, whenever it fell, I think it might have been okay. Whoa. What is the chances? That's been up for 3 weeks. And it falls right after I paint the car. But here she is. She's smooth. I can feel a couple little spots. Yeah, I can feel a couple little spots in it, like just like little roughness. Oh, this is not bad. And I know it's the dust. Well, son of a gun. Did I miss a spot? Where'd it go? Well, maybe not. Maybe just the light. But I do know it was the dust that's in here, and that's okay. That's why I went really heavy on the clear coat, just so I could get it sanded out. But, whoo, she feel nice. Yeah, a little rough right there. But yeah, I think that's her. Not gonna touch it too much. Gotta head to work. It is, what is it? It's definitely not 20 in here. So, oh, we're barely pushing 15 with the heater now, being so cold outside, but yeah. Yes, 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 yes. She might have her. Let her sit all day, get back from work. It's only going to be a few seconds for you guys. We'll really check it out. And here we go, back from work. Now I can touchy. Ooh. Not bad. There's just a little bit of that overspray that's set out that I can feel. But you know what? I can almost rub it off with my hand. Oh. Look at that. I gotta run. There. Roof, the same thing. I can just feel like it's just sitting on top. Just a little bit of dust. A little bit back here. You know what though? Just kind of looking for runs here. Oh, I got a bad one there, but this is okay. That's okay. Little one there. Just a hair of one right there. You know, all in all, there's a couple little runs in her. One right there. I admit, I went heavy with the clear coat on the last one. That's on me, but I wanted to make sure I had good coverage just for this reason, that if I was going to get a run, I wanted to make sure it's something I could sand out. But all in all, whew, she turned out good. I like that. Couple runs for your first big paint job in this mess. I don't think that's that bad at all. But I tell you, I'm ripping down this plastic. I'm going to clean my stove. And I'm going to get a fire roaring in here before I start tearing this all apart. Because I tell you, I'm really missing that crackling wood stove. So, I'm going to get a wood stove, a good fire going. Then we'll come back to the 64. Now, we're cranking out some heat. Whew. Forgot just how much that puts off. There's a little bit of smell coming off her. I dusted it off the best I can. But what you're going to do, it's been sitting here for a year as well too. But things are looking good in here. Got her unwrapped. The dash, there's just a hint of a light dust on top of the black and stuff. But just sitting there, comes off easy. Same as the engine compartment. But damn, does that look sharp. I know this isn't going to be for everybody. The red engine bay with a white car. Not very often vehicles are painted separately in colors, but closed down, front on, you might see a little bit of red right through the front of the grille. You're going to see none of it. I've got the paint lines done so that the hood fits in on top here. You'll see none of this red. The only thing you're going to see red, like I said, is a little bit through the grille. You might see a red shock, front and back, a couple little odds and ends like that, stripe on the side, but you're never going to know what's underneath here. But like I said, I know that's not going to be for everybody. True blue Mopar guys are probably going to hate it. But I think that looks sharp. Whew. You know what? I thought I'd like looking at this thing before. I know the 4-door is not for everybody. It's definitely for me. I'm a boat kind of guy. But man, I'm sure, you know what? For a body guy that does this all the time, he'd probably shake his head at this and like, oh my God, dude, what did you do to this thing? But for me, even though it has flaws, I can see some waves. There's a couple spots where waves are in it, whatever. I am pretty darn proud of the fact that I pulled this thing out of the woods of a pile of rust, and basically I took every single part that was on this car apart. Every single piece I touched. I rebuilt it, cleaned it, and reused it, whatever needed to be done, and put it back together. And the thing runs and drives. That's a bonus too. I can't forget that. But I'm so happy to get to this point, and I'm not afraid to pat myself on the back a little bit. I feel proud. I feel happy that I was able to do this. I learned a lot. Like, I'm still learning. I still got lots to learn, but man, did I learn a lot building this thing. Now comes the tedious part of piecing it all back together. All the trim, all the stuff. Now I can do the front end. I can get the hood on, the doors on, stuff like that. Back window, I think the back window I could put in. I can't do any of my trim on the sides here. This is going to get a stripe down the side. In between these holes, the holes are where all the chrome go down it, or the stainless steel. And I'm going to do the red stripe, just like a picture that I put as a AI picture here back a ways. It's going to have the red stripe down the sides. And I'm going to do it in vinyl. One, they can match the color, no problem. I took in a piece, no problem to get. Now I know how my measurements. And two, if it doesn't look good, I just peel it off. And that's it. Then I can put another color in, leave it white, do whatever I want. But it is definitely getting the red stripe as per the original spec, the Duchesne's Corner spec. It is getting the red stripe down the side with the red highlights inside on the door panels when I make them. And yeah, that's it. I don't really got much else to say tonight. I'm just gonna finish cleaning up. Get my bags of garbage here. Gotta clean my bench off. Gotta clean this mess up. Remember what's good. Remember what's bad. There's that clear coat again. Kind of funny. Look where the stir stick touched. It went all bubbly. Kind of really weird. But yes, a lot of cleaning. Might even sit by the fire a little bit and just admire the rear end of the car. But anyway, love you all for following along. Thank you so much. This has been a great journey. Hope you enjoy it. Again, I know the red in the engine bay is not for everybody, but I think it looks really awesome. Catch you guys again later.